We brought you the story last week of a Columbia University study saying that moms are doing a lot of binge drinking. And we told you it was also more than moms. In fact, women without children are binging more than ever. For women aged 30 to 44 without children, binge drinking jumped from 21% in 2006 to 42% in 2018. Binge drinking is defined, for the purposes of this study, as 4 or more drinks in 2 hours for women, 5 or more for men. Heavy drinking is defined as 5 or more binges per month. Although moms binge less than childless women and men without kids binge drink the most, binge drinking is increasing across the board. Among adults 18 to 55, the only group whose binge drinking declined was fathers age 18 to 29. So we wanted to find out, well, I've got a lot of questions about this, as you can imagine. So let's bring in friend of the show, clinical psychologist, Dr. Jeffrey Gardier. Doc, welcome back. How are you?
Always a pleasure, Bill. I'm doing well, thank you.
So my first thought on this is it difficult as a psychologist today that it seems that the rules and the definitions seem to evolve and change? You know, you could argue this is coming from a psychological perspective and not a medical perspective in terms of alcohol consumption.
I think more than anything, this is some sort of a comment on our society, and that we've seen almost every group, except for that young dads group, they've started drinking more, and there is more of this binge drinking. And I think what they're trying to really establish, Bill, is to tell people, look, moderation is the key. We're not so concerned about this binge drinking since everyone is doing it, it seems, but we're much more concerned about what the health after effects may be.
All right, Doc, stick around with the panel if you can. I want to bring them in. We're bringing back Allison Young, Republican strategist, and Garland Nixon, radio talk show host. Allison, I'm going to start with you. I think moms have a stressful and underappreciated job, and if they can have 5 drinks in a couple hours over time, once in a while, good for them. They deserve it.
Look, I agree. And this is a headline, too, in search of a story, in my opinion, because if you read the fine print here, you read further down, it says, of all the groups out there that are binging, men are still drinking more, women without kids are still binge drinking more. So the headline on this is a little misleading. But look, most moms I know are having a glass of wine and having a little victory lap after the kids go to bed at night.
Right? I mean, what do you think, Garland? Well, is this we're defining the terms to create a negative?
Yeah, and see, I think there's the issue here. I'm going to take a little different perspective. The issue here, I think, is in the euphemisms. If you're a poor person, you're never going to see some guy laying in an alley with a bottle of wine and say he's binge drinking. He's an alcoholic. If you're middle class or upper middle class, you're binge drinking, and you feel a little bit better, and you don't need help for binge drinking. But if you're poor, you're an alcoholic, you better go to some meetings or something.
So, Doc, I mean, that's an interesting point, right? The difference between alcoholism, health, etc. But let's just take at face value, the report showing the increase in numbers, no matter how you define it. Why do you think that is the case today?
Well, because we're in a much more stressful society and we're working more hours than ever before. And it's an easier way to reduce the stress that we have. And you know what? Allison is absolutely correct. This is a lot to do about nothing when it comes to the housewives, those who in fact have children, simply because upon further examination of this study, we found that their drinking went up, but almost everyone else's drinking went up. So I think more than anything else, instead of poo-pooing this away, let's just look at it as, let's pay attention to the drinking that we do, and let's just not overdo it.
I feel like we should have a toast after this show, if you're all with me. All right. Thanks, Doc. Always good to see you.
All right. Great to see you.